Hi, Amy.
Hi.
The same question.
How are you, Frank Matranga?
Nice to meet you.
Does he want to sit
Yeah,
down?
I can sit down.
Yeah, there's no reason to stand if you don't want.
All right, so I'm gonna have you looking in the lens here.
Well, I think when I hear the buzzword supply chain, my heart rate goes up, as well as most of us in the industry. We're all dealing with the same allocations, shortages, delays. When you say supply chain, it's one big envelope.
As long as demand continues as strong as it is, it's going to be very difficult for a supply chain to catch up. But with that, I mean, and we've mentioned in many conversations, either with our customers or in the industry, that we've seen about a 10-year growth within the past 2 years. It's going to be months, several months, before we're able to really start to fill that pipeline again and have that healthy inventory so that we can get our lead times back down.
So the demand for labels jumped in a hockey stick mode when the pandemic began and has stayed there since. So for perspective on that, little back math that I did, just in North America to this industry, I estimate that what has not been made and not delivered in the US so far this year is the equivalent of nearly 8,000 truckloads of paper.
This is the new normal. No. I don't think we know when it's going to stop. Until we get some stability in the marketplace, we really need to put in those key aspects of resiliency, sustainability, and transparency into our process to be able to enable us to be more successful in the future with our company.
We're all just being hit with so many different fronts, and at some point you realize there's only so much you can do. You may be seeing when you come into our plant is a lot of material. It's all spoken for. I'm not hoarding it. I wish I could. I wish I had that luxury, but I don't. And it's all as fast as it comes in. That's as fast as it pretty much it goes out.
I would say in my 30-year career with Avery Dennison, I've never thought that for 2+ years we wouldn't be able to take on new business. There'll be a time when our pipelines are healthy again and the flow of paper, as we continue to use our mitigation activities, we'll be able to grow the business again.
A lot of times people say, when are we going to be back to normal? We won't. We're going to create a new normal. And there's a lot of great things that we've learned through the last couple of years. There's best practices that we've put in place that will help us in the long term. And we'll continue to build upon those. And I think overall this supply will come out of this with a new that's much stronger than what we had coming into all of these challenges we've had the last few years.
This whole pandemic has caused us to refocus on best practices. That gives us a particular advantage whenever we're facing challenges like this and need to consider some material substitutions. So I think the challenge for every converter and suppliers alike is to stay focused on your best practices.
So my philosophy in and outside the company is all around transparency. So I believe that it's critical we're transparent with our employees, with our vendors, with our suppliers, with our customers, because that's what's going to make us all successful in the future, and that's going to drive growth for all of us in the years to come and make sure that we are successful. Otherwise, we don't know what we don't know, and that's not the way we want to go.
The communication to the customers has been difficult because you are communicating messages you don't want to hear. So that the responsibility for people like me and some of my peers has been to be the kind of bearer of bad news and put it in a way that customers can communicate, and we specifically write it in a way that they can then pitch that forward to their customers to say, to some extent, it ain't me, and this is just the current reality we face. The other part there is I try not to burden the sales team, especially the customer service inside sales team, with that kind of messaging, because we ask them to be problem solvers, we ask them to be caretakers, and in this case, they're just sharing bad news, and that doesn't suit them well, and we try to relieve that stress of the messaging while still facing the realities that we have.
If we think that we should be in a digital printing business, if you are a conventional printer and if you're thinking digital, we should be on a digital printing, you are already late. The first thing is digital printing allow you to print only what you need. So that means it's help you minimize the inventory and extra waste that you generate for conventional printing. So when you have a supply chain crisis, digital printing becoming more choice of the printing than conventional printing.
I would say that if you haven't looked at digital, you're missing a great option to be able to do smaller run sizes and be able to pivot. If you haven't looked at digital, you're missing a big gap in the bandwidth that is going forward in the future.
Yeah, I think the other thing to keep in mind is especially if you're not in the digital space yet, now is the perfect time to be looking at that. It would have been very difficult for us to solve a lot of our customers' orders problems if we didn't have digital.
I think you kind of look at every strategy that you can. Everything's on the table at that point. So there were a number of jobs that we had previously run on Flexo. This whole crisis, I guess, it kind of forces you to look at all strategies and come up with things that hopefully work for your business. And I hope that when we're through this, we can take some of these things that we've done internally here and kind of project them out into new business strategies that we do here. And I think we'll learn a lot about ourselves and our employees here, and hopefully when we get through this, we'll be stronger for that.
Well, certainly there's a very important place in the market for digital solutions, and we're thrilled to have made the decision to launch digital a few years ago. We're well positioned to continue to grow as supply chain issues fade. Pendulum always swings, and we're looking forward to when it swings back to being much better supply chain news, and that's going to happen.
I was at a seminar a couple weeks back or a month back, and I want to steal a line that I heard from one of the panelists, and he said, "We're all in this storm together, we're just in different boats. And 1 hour your boat might be right and sailing normally, and the next hour your boat's upside down, but again, we'll get out of the storm will pass." And I thought that was an interesting way to look at it, and I've shared that with multiple team members here at Viking. The storm will pass, we will get through it, and at the end of the day, we will all be better. Our industry will be better.